call to order the City Council meeting for pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, could you call the roll? On tonight's public hearing.
My name is Joseph Texera. I object to this council paying another $5,000 to an outside attorney to sue me to try to violate my free speech rights again, just like the Los Angeles County DA said James Butts and the council did last year. This council, or year before last, this council has paid this attorney about $60,000 of our tax dollars so far just to try to remove from the internet videotaped evidence of James Butts lying and violating the law and civil rights. This council just gave the attorney $50,000 only a few months ago, and now you're going to give her another $5,000 just to remove some homemade videos from the internet? Foolish. This is the same thing as when James Butts was sued by the ACLU for violating civil rights when he was Santa Monica's police chief. I'm sure he and his lawyers thought it was a good idea to go to court then, but they were wrong. Years from now, after he loses this case, Butts will have to lie to the public again, trying to deny that he had anything to do with this foolishness. However, it will be too well documented to deny. Just like 20 years ago when the Yale Law Review documented that James Butts deliberately approved a policy of violating people's civil rights in Santa Monica, now Butts' current attempt to violate my civil rights in Inglewood has been documented in an article by a former member of the Harvard Law Review, Peter Scheer. Mr. Scheer is a Harvard civil rights attorney, a former member of the Harvard Law Review, and is the executive director of the First Amendment Coalition. Mr. Scheer wrote an article entitled, "Shame on Inglewood, Using Copyright as a Muzzle, the city files suit to censor a local critic," unquote. I would have preferred that Mr. Scheer use the title, "Shame on Inglewood City Council for using copyright as a muzzle," because no intelligent Inglewood resident would ever spend $60,000 or $70,000 in 6 months for an attorney to sue me over videos that the city has only made about $1,000 on in the last 10 years. That's just stupid. Mr. Scheer agrees, stating in his article, "How could Inglewood's officials and their lawyers possibly have concluded that suing one of their most outspoken critics in hopes of unplugging his unflattering videos was an appropriate use of tax dollars," unquote. Mr. Scheer goes on to say that Inglewood city government has made a blatant threat to all Inglewood's residents, saying, quote, "If you criticize the mayor or other officials, the city will hire lawyers to censor you," unquote. And this will not be the last article exposing Butts and this council's attacks on civil rights. USC's Annenberg School of Journalism plans a series of articles exposing Butts and his other council members' misconduct. Soon it will be Butts versus McNally all over again. Butts and the council shown to have a deliberate and blatant disrespect for civil rights.
Thank you, Mr.
Roy Fisher, the 1st District. With regard to the Vincent Park installation of the turf, I think that you should pull it. I know that the Unified Schools, LA Unified, had a lot of problems with their turf as they installed it. They had a lot of problems with the contracts that they had for that turf and not having the people to care for it properly. And in as much as that's a regional park, I wonder if the LA County Supervisors might not get involved in it. And, you know, I don't know who's going to be paying for all this, but that's my concern with regard to that. With regard to there's so many of these things here on this thing. The water district, with regard to this, given so much money to this Roman Catholic Archdiocese, giving the water to them. You know, I have my concerns with that too, because, you know, with this drought that we have now, and all the water that we're losing with regard to leakage of one of the reservoirs off of Crenshaw and Pincoy Drive there, this is going to impact the residents of this city more and more as you begin to think about increasing our rates or cutting back on the waters that we use. So I don't see how you can even consider selling waters to people outside of the city or whatever when it's going to impact the residents of this city dearly. So I would, that you would strongly consider that. I guess the PH1 has to do with the schools and the preparatory academy, so I suppose I have to wait to speak to that. Gil Matthew sends his regards to you all. Gil has been ailing, as you many know. He is doing better. He's back at home. He tells Mr. Fields, and I've already spoken to Mr. Falco, that he sends regards and he'll see you soon. Thank you.
Quorum is present. Warrant registry.
Move allow payment.
Second.
One agency members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Chairman Buds.
So moved. Second.
Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Buds. Okay. SBH 1 through 4 is a staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to initiate proceedings for the annual levy collection and assessment for Morningside Park Maintenance Assessment District 1974-2, In-Town Maintenance Assessment District number 1975-1, Inglewood Street Lighting Assessment District 1980-1, and Darby-Dixon Maintenance Assessment District number 1987-1.
So second.
Council
1, 2, 3,
members,
4.
Dotson.
Yes.
There's four. PH4 as well.
Yes.
Well, the H1 SPH is different. I'm only doing 1 through 4.
Right.
So 1 through 3.
1 through 4.
1 through 4.
Yeah, we're just not doing this one.
Those are the assessments.
They're all the assessment.
Oh, I see 1 through 4.
Correct.
But I moved
The actual sub-items of each one.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm moving that we adopt 1.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Second.
got you.
There we
I
go.
got you.
Now
Okay.
we're with you.
So
Thank
it
you.
was moved in second.
So he was right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Council members, Dotson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts. Now you want me to do the SH? Okay, got you. Staff report requesting that a public hearing be set to consider the Inglewood Housing Authority fiscal year 2015-16 annual plan. Public hearing? The next scheduled matter is a tax equity and fiscal responsibility hearing to receive public comment on the issuance of tax-exempt revenue bonds by California statewide Community Development Authority to finance a new facility for the Children of Promise Preparatory Academy. Notice has been given and affidavit is on file.
Is there a staff report on the matter?
Yes, Mr. Damian Pipkin, Grants Coordinator, will give the staff report.
Mr. Pipkin.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. We're here this afternoon to recommend that you conduct a public hearing and adopt a resolution for tax-exempt bonds that come from the California Statewide Community Development Authority. And these bonds can be used for a plethora of projects related to housing or public infrastructure. In this case, it is for a public charter school that will be located at 11161 Crenshaw Boulevard here in the city of Inglewood. And it's called the Children of Promise Preparatory Academy. And if it's okay, we do have a gentleman here from the bond council that can speak to the structure of the deal to give everyone clarity on. The city only is to approve the resolution to support the action of the state approving bonds for this project. No city funds are involved.
Exactly. There's no city funds, nor is there any city obligation.
Correct.
We won't need bond counsel to explain that to us.
Okay.
All right. Are there any members of the public that would like to comment on the matter?
Fisher, the First District again. With regard to this funding for these charter schools, the Inglewood Unified School District is already in receivership. They will continue to be in receivership as long as these charter schools are allowed to continue to be so many of them here in the city of Inglewood. I oppose strongly this idea of these charter schools, any more of them, because again, they're taking money away from the ADA, money's tax dollars that we, the people of this city and throughout the state, are paying for these schools. But with regard to these schools and Inglewood schools in general, people come to communities like Inglewood because of the schools and because of having good schools. And we have in the past had very good schools in Inglewood. All of a sudden now, these charter schools, which are nothing more than businesses, are coming in and taking money from the schools, the public schools, with regard to ADA funding. And I think that it's only going to continue. I think that if parents get involved with the schools and do as they should and stand by their children, that the public schools will do fine, as they always have. Many of us have gone to the public schools, and they didn't need these so-called charter schools here. So I strongly oppose this, and I oppose it even more that this is something that should be kicked over to the school district rather than you them even being involved in it. You have enough problems in this city with regard to all that's going on here and not getting done here without you getting involved in something like school funding for these charter schools. I don't care if it's not money from the city coming out of it. These ADA funds are monies that belong to the people of the state of California, and it's for the funding of schools. And these ADA funds coming out of there are impacting the schools, LA Unified schools in particular.
Afternoon, City Council. We are an existing charter school. My name is Trina Thompson. I am the principal and administrator of Children of Promise Prep Academy, and we are already in existence. So we are not a new school that plans to take any funds or any ADA dollars. Seeing that we are in existence means we were already approved by Inglewood Unified. They see us as a partner. They know that it is not a business for us. Our children are here to show that they need this school. The parents are the tax-paying parents and community that support us. And we were just renewed for another 5 years by Inglewood Unified School District. So they approve of us, they have renewed us, and we are here to continue doing business as usual. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
My name is Willie A.G. I live in the beautiful city of Inglewood. I've been watching these kids in the back here. If this is charter school, I want to see more of it. I just, this seemed like a school to me. Go around some of these public schools here and see what you see. I don't care what you call it. If it's educating these kids in Inglewood, it can be Willie A.G. School. That's fine with me. The bottom line is let's get whoever can educate these kids in the beautiful city of Inglewood and forget about what the naysayers say. They've been saying that for 30 years, and they still don't say it for another 30 years, but they're not getting anywhere. This city is moving forward. So if it's charter schools, let's go along and let's do it and get it done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Carlton Lincoln. I'm the CEO and founder of Children of Promise Preparatory Academy. I do want to acknowledge the Honorable Mayor Butts and the distinguished council members and staff members. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. I just want to assuage any fear or concerns that the people of Inglewood would have that charter schools or Children of Promise Preparatory Academy would not represent them properly. We just returned, this fifth grade class just returned from a 10-day study trip in Washington, D.C., Virginia, Boston, and New York, representing this great city of Inglewood, California. When they asked us where we come from, when he asked us who we are, we said, we are Inglewood. We didn't say that we were some separate, segmented population. We represent the city of Inglewood. We represent our amazing district, and we represent the amazing leadership of this council and our great mayor. And so I want you to know the very, very best of Inglewood is coming out of our schools. We don't see ourselves as a separate, segmented school. We are a public charter school providing choices for our parents to experience quality education for all of our children. So I'm so grateful that the council and staff and the public has an opportunity to see our great school. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon, council members. With regard to a preparatory school, yes, I do realize that it is a charter school, but when someone says they don't receive ADA, that's an interesting concept, because in the state of California, the money follows the student. So if the student went anywhere else, the money would follow that student. So it is tax money, indeed, that is going to the school. It's called ADA, Average Daily Attendance. Additionally, there are other concerns. When you take a piece of property that had been commercial, out of commercial status and put it into nonprofit, there's that little tax revenue there, isn't it? So there is an impact. My fear is that as we now have a state administrator who is dealing with the drama of Inglewood Unified, the more and more space available, not at Inglewood Unified, means that more and more students are not going to be going to Inglewood and missing out on a public education, which at one time, I will remind you, Inglewood was the school district that sent the greatest number of high school graduates directly into the university system. We've gone a long way downhill. But today, we have an opportunity to restore that. And I've got to say, I completely spaced off that I'm a proud monarch of Morningside. And you know who else shares that distinction? Jackie Goldberg and Roberta Echtenberg. So let's remember, significant people have graduated from our public schools who have made a difference for a positive in our communities, in California, and in the entire United States.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council and staff. Renal Davis, 2nd District. I'm just going to repeat what I've said for years. When it comes to education, and I'm going to address the young people back there. I'm going to date myself. When I was your age, we were only 1 year removed from landing a man on the moon for the first time. I'm old. And I went to a little public school in Northern California, and public schools in this country were the envy of the world, let me tell you. But that was then, this is now. And we have got to fix things. This is no small matter, because I'll just cut to the chase. Young people, we're going to hand the future off to you. And we got to hand you off something, number one, that you'll be able to work with. But number two, you've got to be educated in such a fashion that you will lead us on into the future. And our choices are quite clear. It's either that, or as I like to tell people when I come up here, when it's on issues of education, we have one or two clear choices. Either we're going to educate these people to get the good jobs, the careers, work in public-private sector, and pay all those taxes so that we old folks can wait by the mailbox and collect our check, or they're going to be the mob that's going to be busting us upside our head to take what little we don't have. Pick one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Are there any council comments?
Yes, Mayor.
Councilman Franklin.
Yes. First of all, let me thank Dr. Carlton Lincoln and his assistant, actually the director, for their leadership. Particularly, I want to stress with Trina Thompson and Dr. Lincoln, this is not a new venue. They have been in our community, particularly in District 4, for a number of years with their program called Children of Promise Preparatory Academy. In fact, I was invited to their complex with an Inglewood Unified School District board member that was promoting this transition to become a reality. This has been years, and I use the biblical principle of seed, time, and harvest, of working to nourish the students to stay focused in their education, reaching out to the community to make sure we are vested with their activities, and we work as a cohesive team. There actually, it becomes a win-win for us because the property they wish to acquire has been dilapidated for a number of years, and the residents of the city, particularly District 4, have said, we need to do something with this. And now all of a sudden, funding has been made available for this academy to be able to make it a reality, and I encourage my colleagues to get on board and support this. Thank you.
Councilman Morales and Councilman Padilla.
Just briefly, the first thing is to clarify what we're doing. It's a TEFRA hearing, from what I understand, and what it is we just act as a conduit for the bond issuance. We're not on the hook for anything. So while you're right, at some point, things trickle to the community. When it comes down to charter schools, it's always a big argument as to what, in fact, you're supporting. But the truth is, I'm supportive. I'm supportive of parents having a choice to do the best they can for their children. You cannot place that responsibility on fixing an entire organization before you take care of your kids. So when that comes up, I mean, it's an easy call for me. The truth is that whatever we can do to improve any facilities that teach our children and here in Inglewood give them the best opportunity to succeed, that's when we should act. So this is a very minor way, but if it's seen as such, I'm all for it. So those are my only comments.
Yeah, Mayor, just a quick note. We had a speaker come up and talk about why this wasn't being addressed by the school board. This is the appropriate body that is supposed to make this decision as to the moving forward. This is the public hearing, the TEFRA public hearing, and so it's being made by the right body, the mayor and the council, not to be made by the school district. So it's in the right place, and we'll move forward from here.
Councilman Dodson.
One thing, the public needs to know that it does have the blessing of our school district. Got that when they first got the charter. So, not a decision that's been made out of the sky. It has already been vested with the school district.
You're welcome. And just to, again, reiterate, this is not a new school. They have all these children they've been educating. What they want to do is issue bonds so that they can make improvements for these children. And it would be unconscionable for the council not to approve their application to receive tax-exempt revenue bonds that they are responsible for paying. All right.
Move adoption.
Second.
Madam Clerk.
Council members Dodson.
Aye.
Padilla.
Aye.
Morales.
Aye.
Franklin.
Aye.
Mayor Butts.
Aye. A1.
Thank you, Mayor. We had a closed session today regarding the case of City of Inglewood versus Time Warner. It was a confidential regarding under the government code. United States District Court case number 213 CV 9465 BRO with the sub-initials of CWX. A discussion was held, direction given to staff. As to the next item, there's no city attorney reports.
All right. CM1.
The city manager reports.
DC1, Madam City Clerk.
No reports. Thank you, Mayor.
Sir? Sir, could you not do that? Sir, could you go back a little ways beyond the Sergeant at Arms? Thank you very much. All right. CC1.
No remarks. Thank you, sir.
CT1, Madam City Treasurer. Thank you. Public comments, any person wishing to address the council and any matter connected with city business not elsewhere considered may do so at this time. 1 minute, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you for this 1 minute. I will say to begin with, I am glad that the media is here, the TV media, and they should be here to see you and this council, how they, even with Mr. Teixeira over there, will take the rights away from people that they don't have the right to speak freely, they don't have the right to watch you people clown them as they leave here, as you did in the last meeting that I heard. So, I'm glad that they're here. I also want to know from you, I understand these meetings have been taped again, and why are we not, if these meetings are taped, able to get the DVDs of these meetings? Why are you hiding, and why are you taking comments of residents away from the DVD meetings that you have?
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Well, I don't thank you, not at all, because I don't think that you do very well for the city.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Hello, my name is Omar Baldwin. I'm founder and CEO of Peace Please Nonprofit. Peace Please Nonprofit is building coalitions in communities all around the world with the local governments, the churches, and the schools, so we all can be on the same accord. Our mission is peace, peace on earth. We just launched our third project, which will be the Peace on Earth project, and we're fundraising for the project. We're looking for land. We've been doing some searching, and we found 7 square miles of land in Africa, and it's really exciting because we can actually have land to do what we want to do. And we have a group of young kids who came up with the idea to try and gain sovereignty so we can actually have our own laws and our own economy and our own society. And if anybody would like to get involved, I will be here after the meeting and you can talk to me.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Willie A.G. If you want to lead this city, you have to run for office, get elected, and then you can sit up here and then you can make decisions. I just want the people that's listening here today to know that the naysayers, it's about 5 of them, in my opinion, led by Miss Diane Sombrano, and they've been at it for the last 15 or 20 years, but they don't have guts enough to go and run for election so that they'll be able to make decisions. I support this council. I support the staff. I support the city of Inglewood 100%. Because, look here, let me tell you, just look where we are going. But you know what? You got people that's going to try to pull you down. This is a diverse city. It's going to stay that way. I don't care what you do. And that's the greatest thing in this country, a diverse city, and that's what we have. Yes, sir.
We're time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council, Mayor, staff. My name is Aldine Sly, and I'm from the 1st District. Regarding the charter school, my 2 grandchildren attended chartered schools, and they did very well, got very good education. But it's a very selective process. If you do not have the wherewithal to be in these chartered schools, you will not get in. I think our children should find every avenue of education that they can. Chartered schools can live together with public schools, but the problem is our public schools have just been so negated and not had the wherewithal to teach our children. So, I'm not against chartered schools, but I think that our city has to do much, much more to elevate the public schools so all children can be educated.
Thank you, Ms. Sly.
Joseph Texar, I just want to point out, I don't know if everybody knows, but shortly before the November elections, the city council took all of the videos of these meetings off of the internet so that nobody could see what was happening before the run-up to the election. Then they kept them off until earlier I believe in December of last year, and then when they started publishing them again, they took out all of public comments. Now, in the last week or two, I saw that they did start putting back public comments, and that's public comments on everything, agenda items, hearings, and non-agenda items. And I just want to point out that Inglewood is the only city that takes public comments out of these meetings. And I believe it's because you people look out here and you see a bunch of people you think you can exploit. You wouldn't do that in other cities. You think these people are weak, but they're not. And as we see tonight, something's going to be done about the way you're running this city.
Thank you, Mr. Texar.
Hello again, Mayor and Council. I'll be quick. This is the first time I've ever brought a prop to a council meeting. I bought this right down the street at a little mom and pop shop for $1.49. And it looks like, I think they're from Etria, but nice couple. And we had a conversation. I'll cut to the chase because I'm down to 40 seconds. I'm asking the mayor and the city council to make history again. And that means you're going to have to probably take some power out of your hands. And by that, you don't allow what happened in Los Angeles last week, and sadly by one of the people that used to, I believe he was sitting in your chair, Councilman Franklin. Mr. Curran Price, as far as I'm concerned, he's doomed Los Angeles. If this costs $1.49, if they raise the minimum wage here in Inglewood to $15 by 2020, how much do you think this will cost? About $5? I won't buy it.
Thank you, sir.
Council members, I'm still Diane Sombrano, and no, we don't have a great group of people that I'm a leader of, other than, the one that does good all year long. And so the sheer concept that people express their opinion, have to be given scripts and led by one individual, must come from something that happens to the people that I guess you think I'm continually opposed to. We do see that many of the people who come here to sing your praises do have scripts. But you notice the rest of us who come up and express our opinions, sometimes we actually disagree with each other. So we obviously are not coming together to oppose anything other than that which we individually oppose. And it's really sad that you continually work your very hardest to cast dispersion, that you work very hard to insinuate and imply that many of us do everything in a negative fashion. And unfortunately, you're the ones who create the negative opinion of yourselves out in the community. 1 minute is an irresponsible amount of time for members to have to deal with.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay, we'll close public comment. Any council comments? Councilman Franklin.
Yes, I was absent last Tuesday I was absent the Tuesday was the council meeting held in late May. But I want to identify, I went to the Rincon convention, which was in Las Vegas, where I was asked by not one but 3 shopping center owners of trying to do our best to bring in quality retail tenants. I'm proud to say there was a number of letters received by the developers, owners of the shopping center, of interest of wanting to come to the city. So I'm looking forward to having it become a reality. I also want to acknowledge that the South Bay Workforce Investment Board on Wednesday, April 22nd, held a youth job fair at Rogers Park. And they reported out to the South Bay COG meeting that I served at last Thursday to identify that there were 653 youth who were in attendance. 154 were offered employment that day, and 361 were scheduled for a second interview. We also were supporting the food drive by the letter carriers that occurred on May 9th And I particularly supported them and was there when to receive the letter carriers' vehicles to unload the amount of tonnage of canned goods and other supplies. But I wanted to follow up also to make sure that it was returned back to our community. And I'm proud to announce that the Inglewood community brought in a hefty 17,330 pounds, and the main group that will be using it will be the Salvation Army in Inglewood and the food pantry at LAX. And then finally, I would be remiss if we didn't recognize the Memorial Day services where we were identified our soldiers that were willing to give up their lives for quality of life to be able to continue on, including the vets that are still with us. And so the Boy Scout units, which I'm affiliated with Troop 636 right here in the city of Inglewood, on Sunday did put the flags at the grave sites on Sunday, and then on Monday they did the color guard and the laying of the wreaths at the monument. And so my granddaughter was with me, 5 years old, was very curious as to what was going on in its purpose, but overall it worked out very well. And I want to acknowledge the American Legion Post 188 blessed Troop 636 and Troop 188 out of Hawthorne, each receiving checks of $2,500 for their continued volunteer service. And on that note, thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Padilla.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of comments. For the past few months, almost a year now, we've been talking about Relay for Life, American Cancer Society's event. It's coming up this Saturday. From 9 a.m. is the opening ceremonies right here across the street at Crozier School. Our goal is to have somebody from each team walking on their track for the 24 hours of the event. If you're not able to get there during the opening ceremony, I strongly encourage you to get there at 9 o'clock at night for the vigil that we do, where we light up the field with candles in memory of those that have lost the fight against cancer, or in memory or in support of those that are fighting this disease. And so if you get a chance to come out at 9 a.m. for opening, 9 p.m. for the vigil, and then the following morning at 9 a.m. for the closing ceremony, come by our booth. We're also doing, in the Councilmember Padilla's booth, we're doing a raffle, and we're raffling off different prizes. So all this money, everything we raise, goes to the American Cancer Society to help fight this disease. So hopefully you'll come out and support us. I also just wanted to echo what Councilmember Franklin said about the Memorial Day event, very solemn event, very well attended by the community. And I want to congratulate our Public Works, our Parks and Recs staff for putting together the event and making sure we had seating and the cover for those in attendance. So thank you to Parks and Recs. With that being said, I look forward to seeing everyone out there on Saturday, Relay for Life at Crozier School. Thank you so much.
Okay. Councilman Dotson.
I have to veto my council's comment. This time I hope that people will not think of yourself. If you're healthy, you've been blessed. There are so many of us who are not. The Cancer Society needs our help. I will have a team as well. I pray that you will all come out and participate. Walk around the track one time. If you can just walk up one time, you would be you can't even imagine what that would do for somebody who really couldn't walk at all. So please come out this Saturday, participate. All the money goes to the same place. I will be doing the same thing. There'll be games that you could participate, there will be prizes that you will win. But it's really not all about that. It's about us helping the American Cancer Society eradicate cancer in our lifetime. So with that, thank you all for coming out to these meetings. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next meeting.
Councilman Morales.
Thank you. Just to piggyback on a few of those things, the Cancer Relay Walk, I mean, it's an amazing event. We have it every year. Every year it's extremely successful. You know, I think Councilman Dotson said it best. You know, you come out, you really get a feeling for what it's all about, and it's a great experience for the whole family. Start teaching the kids early. I want to congratulate the charter school that's here for a very well-behaved class of children there, so I congratulate you guys. Do want to announce the CERT training, which is Community Emergency Response Team Training. The training class start June 3rd, and you would call 310-330-5337. And what it is that in case of a major disaster, there may not be enough police, fire, and medical professionals to help out, and people are going to start relying on themselves. This training is developed to provide basic training in safety and life-saving skills, so it's an extremely important and valuable training to the public. So if you're interested, you could call any one of our offices or the number I stated. So those are my announcements. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. The public hearing regarding stormwater management and discharge control ordinance has been calendared to June 9th, 2015 at 7 p.m. I wanted to echo the sentiments about the Memorial Day celebration. It was very well attended and it was very solemn. On this Sunday at 6 a.m., another piece of history was made. The grandstand was demolished at the old Hollywood racetrack site. That grandstand was originally constructed in 1938. It burned down in 1950 and was reconstructed. And it was cleared to make way for the mixed-use development that will occur on the Hollywood Park site. And so just another symbol of the city moving forward. I want to thank everyone that is signed up to be on a team for Relay for Life. I hope everybody can make it to Crozier this weekend. And we're adjourned.